The octagon has settled here in beautiful Western Australia. We are in the capital city of Perth.
Man, what an awesome fight card that they put together for UFC 284. All the way across the world over in Australia. Volkonskiy, #1 pound-for-pound guy in the world versus Islam Makhachev. For the lightweight belt, he's the #2 pound-for-pound guy in the world. Not only have they put together a phenomenal card, but everybody has been chomping at the bit to get the UFC back over there, and I can't wait to watch. Volkonskiy he's just good. He's solid everywhere, as well as a guy who, when you talk about him going up a weight class, obviously that guy's weighed over 200 pounds before. When he was a rugby player before he started fighting. So you're not talking about a guy who's a natural 145 pounder. You're talking about a guy who's been above 200 pounds before, heavier than I've ever been, honestly. So it'll be very interesting to watch him, how his strength plays against Islam. I think he's better in the striking department. I think he's more crisp. I think he's more seasoned there. And he's also dangerous enough with the grappling and takedown defense to be able to stop some of Islam's some takedowns, but only time will tell. I think Volkonskiy, when it comes to fight IQ, if he needs to fight a striking battle like he did against Max Holloway, but then also more of a grappling battle like he did in another fight against Max Holloway, kind of change things up, he can do that, whereas Islam is very kind of linear in his approach. He knows he wants to go out there, throw a couple bombs, take you down, and then grapple you, possibly submit you or ground and pound you. But Volkonskiy has a lot more ways to win. Islam has just proven that when you're really, really good at one thing, it works against the majority of people. When you're really, really brilliant with the basics, and also whenever you fully commit and fully believe in your style. He wakes up every single morning and says, this is how I fight, this is what I do, and I don't care who it is standing across the octagon from me, they will succumb to my demands in the grappling department in the fight. So he has the ability to impose his will and impose his game plan, and it's worked out really well, and he's been very dominant thus far. But Volkonskiy is he's very good, and he's very adaptable as well. If he needs to change his game plan mid-fight, he can do that. When it comes to a prediction, it's so hard to predict fights these days because we all know that Makhachev could go out there and just absolutely manhandle him because he's bigger and he's stronger and he knows how to grapple better. But then we also have seen Volkonskiy get out of these tough situations, these tight situations, change game plans mid-fight, use his fight instinct and his fight IQ to get the win. So I think if Islam is able to go out there and impose his will and get the takedown, it's not necessarily going to be a short night at the office because I don't think he's going to finish Volkonskiy, but I think it would be a very dominant decision. But as we've seen before, Volkonskiy is just good everywhere. He really is. And he will put together a second round that was different than his first round and a third round that was different than the two previous, and he'll make changes on the fly. And if he can do that, I think he's got better striking and he's got good enough takedown defense to stop Islam's takedowns. If he can do those two things, he's going to outpoint Islam, and I think he's going to have a higher pace as well, and eke out a decision that way. You got one guy who wants to impose his will, another guy who's really good at adapting to not letting his opponent impose his will. So it's really it's a fan's delight to be able to watch these two guys compete, these awesome competitors compete at UFC 284.